right, it's got to be separate.
Yep. Well, and this.
We have a small little sailboat there. Like a thing.
All right. Good evening.
Yeah.
Sunfish.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Good evening. Thank you. It's my pleasure to call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Grosse Pointe Farms City Council to order. I'd ask Mr. Kevin Webb, one of our employees, to please come to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. You'll hear more about Mr. Webb in just a minute.
I pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And Kevin's wife, thank you for joining him. Thank you. Mr. Webb, be patient for just a moment while I ask our Assistant City Manager and City Clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilman Gold. Councilman Conrad Golden.
Here.
Councilman Ritchie.
Here.
Mayor Dooley.
Here.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Soroka. Here. Councilmember Jensen. Here.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda, item number 4, is our continuation of our employee recognition program. We've received a lot of great input from it. Thank you to my fellow members and City Council. And tonight is no exception. Before us, we have Mr. Kevin Webb. And in reading this, his promotional materials or his resume, so to speak, we have to remember that the city of Grosse Pointe Farms is in a really unique position. We own and maintain our own water facility. We, so to speak, make our own water. We distribute our own water, in fact, to another community. Our state tests are always come back much higher than normal. We have extremely high quality water. We have extremely valuable employees who work at our water department day in and day out, who are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, quite frankly. There's always somebody on Maross when you drive by monitoring our water plant. And Kevin has been employed with the city of Grosse Pointe Farms for more than 26 years. During his career, Kevin has been successful in a broad range of positions within our great community. Kevin was hired in the Department of Public Works and then was hired and transferred to a water operator position in 2005. During his career at the water department, he has consistently pursued both his drinking water and water distribution certification exams, which is no easy task. They're all administered by the state of Michigan, and they are extremely tough examinations. Kevin has attained his S1, which is the highest water distribution certification for the state of Michigan. He also holds a classification F3 water operator certification. Kevin advanced from being a competent water operator, where he maintained and operated, sometimes by himself, completely the water filtration plant that produces our drinking water, and he is currently exceeding in the role as water distribution foreman. As the water distribution foreman, Kevin oversees the entire water distribution process. Literally thousands of people rely on Kevin each and every day. Some of his many responsibilities entail maintaining our water mains, our fire hydrants, our water metering system, and implementing annually our lead water service challenge checkout program as required by the state. As part of his responsibilities, he's on call 24/7. These calls have included working diligently during many frigid nights to repair broken water main breaks. He's always, one thing all the employees and Scott Dominguez, supervisor, says, as does Mr. Reside, he goes above and beyond the call of duty without being asked. And Mr. Webb, we very much appreciate that, sir. As an example, numerous times he can be found at a resident's home. He goes out when somebody calls about a leaky toilet or a broken faucet, and Mr. Webb can be found at their home. He's been a very integral asset in keeping the city of Grosse Pointe Farms water system functioning and surpassing each and every year both federal and state standards. Mr. Webb, we are very grateful for your decades of service to the city of Grosse Pointe Farms. Your wife is here tonight. We hope you have many, many more years within our city. Thank you for everything that you do for not only our city, but neighboring communities as well. Thank you, sir. Next, please, on the agenda. Item number 5, consideration of a conditional use permit and final site plan. What did I miss? I'm sorry, I missed the minutes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regularly scheduled meeting held on May 11, 2026. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
By Councilperson Donovan, supported by Councilperson Conrad Wilberding. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Number 5 now, consideration of a conditional use permit and final site plan review for 18850 Mack Avenue and Family Daycare. City Manager Reside, please.
Yes, well, I think everyone is obviously aware of these plans. They have previously been presented to City Council and the public as part of a preliminary site plan review. And so we are really at the next step, requesting City Council consider approval of a final site plan. Hence, if that is approved, then there'll be additional steps in terms of approval of the actual purchase of the property and the lease agreement for parking and adjacent green space.
And can I go so far as to call on our city attorney briefly? Can you explain to members of the public, please, what a conditional use permit is and why it's necessary with regard to this proposed development, Mr. Burgess?
Yep, happy to do so.
Thank you.
This particular district is currently zoned for community service. That means, under our zoning ordinance, that the type of facility that is proposed here, which is an early education daycare facility, would not automatically be permitted as a matter of right within that zoning district. There are alternative ways, nevertheless, to obtain approval for this facility without going into the alternatives that have been eliminated. The conditional use permit is one that allows the city council to make a determination that this proposed use is not injurious to surrounding areas within the district and is similar to other approved uses within the district. And that's the application that's been submitted on behalf of the proposed purchaser operator for this particular site. And without getting ahead of ourselves, one of the features of the conditional use permit that you'll hear at the council table this evening, and that is incorporated in the purchase agreement documents that have been negotiated, is that the conditional use permit will benefit proposed operator here, which is N Family Club. It's the operator of the daycare facility. It automatically, assuming the council approves the purchase agreement tonight, it automatically would transfer to a franchisee or an affiliate or someone under common control with N Family. We've also developed a list of other premier daycare operators that if N Family, for whatever reason, could not continue, that list of other premier daycare operators could receive a transfer of the conditional use permit. Anyone else, if N Family Club were to cease operations and it would not be transferred to an approved premier daycare operator, then it would have to come back to city council for approval in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We do have a representative from the proposed developer here as always tonight. Thank you, sir. For the record, please state your full name and address for our purposes.
My name is Bradford Egan, and Big 14 Services.
1695 12 miles, Suite 100 in Berkeley, Michigan.
Thank you. Mr. Egan, you've had an opportunity to review with your council the proposed conditional use permit, your final site plan review, and of course, we'll get into this in a few minutes, the proposed purchase and lease agreement for the property located at 18850 Mack Avenue.
Yes, sir.
And you're satisfied with the form in which is presented to city council tonight for our consideration?
Yeah.
And what would you like to add, sir, please, to your application or your documents tonight before I turn it over to members of the public and city council for various questions? And we have our representative from McKenna here as well, too.
I have the slideshow that I've shown previously in sessions.
Dixon.
Additional to that, I really don't have more information about the building other than, we're very excited for the opportunity to get started, and we look forward to the vote this evening.
Thank you very much. Why don't I do this? Are there any questions or comments from members of city council before we entertain a motion with regard to the conditional use permit? We'll vote on them individually. First, the permit, then final site plan review, and then we'll move to the next agenda item. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Just as a procedure, John, when we get there, we're also going to have to reconvene as the Board of Zoning Appeals, I believe, with respect to one or two variances. And I think the motion that's been prepared covers that. So just a procedural heads up.
All right. First, questions or comments for members of council. Mr. Wood, please.
Hi, Mr. Egan. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for your tenacity. Couple questions for you. I'm sure you'll be able to answer them, but I want to clarify just for the record. The McKenna report lists several trees five trees are proposed to be removed during the development, two 4-inch diameter trees and three others. I'd like to know what your plan is for replacement, and in particular, what I would love to see you agree to would be a 1-to-1 diameter replacement. In other words, you lose 16 inches, you put 16 inches back somewhere onto the site. Can you?
Yes, that's fairly typical in this type of a situation. Unfortunately, the state licensing does not allow certain trees, and the trees that we're talking about are more of a pine or a
Right.
And they don't allow those within the playground area. So we would be more than happy to, any tree that is removed from that playground area or displaced, if there's an opportunity to replant it somewhere else in the area, we'd be happy to do that. If for some reason that's not permissible or the health of the tree would be in jeopardy, then we would replace it with 1-to-1 caliper replacement.
But I'm thinking that you could work with Matt or with Shane or whomever just to find a good spot, close by.
Yeah, that area is pretty open in general, so I think that we could definitely find that and along with any landscaping that we put in, or we could just have our landscapers give us their their assessment of the tree itself and is worthy of replanting, we need to replace it.
Okay. And we put that in as a condition, so that we all have that as part of the record. So maybe we can make sure we have that. Second, I'm concerned about the safety in terms of the doorways. Oops, you don't have it up there, but there are apparently doorways that are on the Mac Ave side. And I'm thinking that those are emergency only, they're not in. So that my concern is people wandering around and wondering, this is a cool looking building, I think I'm gonna come in here. No, we don't want that.
We could cover that with just signage on the front door that says main door is in the rear.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect. But for safety reasons and things like that, we don't want two means of egress on the front and the rear of the building. We'd like to get everyone to go to the rear of
The rear being the ballpark side.
the alley side, correct?
Because if you kind of look at that, it appears as though there might be a door handle that I'm not sure.
There are handles on the doors, just by functionality. And even some of the other ones, if they're designated as classroom, many times there's a doorway for egress in case of an emergency. The building is fire suppressed, so that's not as big of an issue. But safety is always paramount when we come to daycare.
Okay, so we can be assured that no one walking along Mac Avenue will be able to enter it through the Mac Avenue side.
Correct.
Okay, that's great. All right, thank you. And the other question I have has to do with the public drive.
Yeah,
McKenna, as you were gonna bring this up too.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, McKenna has taken the opportunity to, on their page
Page 5,
6,
5,
to describe
last paragraph.
painted crosswalks and walking aisles along public drive. And so my concern is safety again, from the perspective of the moms and dads walking the kids from the parking area that you're gonna lease, then cross the public drive and then into the rear area there. Are you able to tell us tonight what you would like to do in terms of, or, you know, maybe have an alternative to the McKenna approach, but they've shown two ways that they're painting or otherwise striping. So could you tell us how you might otherwise make it very obvious for people who are driving up and down after they've dropped off their kids? They're not really thinking about kids anymore. They're thinking about going to work. So we want to be sure that everybody's safe, and we want to make sure that one way or another is delineated.
Yes, we believe that I'm trying to find the page of their,
It's their page.
oh, okay, so page 6.
My page,
We would go with,
here,
we
second.
would like to go with the option on the right side of the bottom of page 6, which would allow parents and children to cross at a marked crosswalk directly to the playground area, and then walk along the building, and then get to the front door. That would be our preference. We would sign, mark, however, we would need to make sure that it was designated a crosswalk to allow for the legality of the crosswalk to be in place, that people have to yield to the crosswalk, and then get next to the building as soon as they can.
You've talked about that, Matt, or you will, and you,
We've said it in previous meetings that we would do whatever public safety would like us to do in that regard. You know, if we have a choice in the matter, we would rather have it come where they cross directly after they get out of the parking lot, as opposed to walking down the other side of the alley and then having to cross in what I would think would be a more heavily trafficked area of the alley
okay.
or the public drive.
Okay, well, you know, I find this land use is, complies with the general, my general understanding of conditional land use permit, unless I hear otherwise tonight through, members of the public or my colleagues. I intend to vote for this, so congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Councilmember Conrad Wilberding, please.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Egan, thank you very much for coming back and with us with this. My concerns have been already addressed by my other council member, and that was the facilitate the crossing for the public drive and the public safety thing. And it seems to me your answer is very suitable as far as a resolution with that. And you've already addressed the tree situation. So, and this is our tree man here, you know, let's protect all that vegetation in the trees. So, thank you very much. And I think that I've seen no other problem with your application.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Ritchie.
No questions.
Thank you, Councilmember Jensen.
My concerns are the same, obviously, in safety and security. So I think any plan that you're coming up with, I like the second one too, but I think she needs to be reviewed by public safety for their input. I don't know if they want to do studies. I don't know if they want to look at it, make it, excuse me if I call it the Allen Senior. Say that we have a road, the public drive. Whether we make it two-way, one-way, I think public safety and that back, I need to take three. Other than that,
We're happy to
I think
work
it's a great report. That's my concern. All of it was just very well put together, great report, but it's just safety of crossing a roadway.
Thank you. We'll recognize Ms. Dixon, who's here tonight on behalf of McKenna in just a moment. Mayor Pro Tem Soroka, please.
I don't have any questions other than deep appreciation to Mr. Egan and the whole applicants, the thoughtful application that they've put forward to answer a really vital community need. So thank you for this, and
Thank you, sir.
we have a lot of work to do.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Donovan.
I don't have any.
Thank you. Mr. Egan, I want to first thank you and your team very, very much, both locally and abroad, for ensuring that the program is one that will benefit our residents, other residents of other communities, and will be, quite frankly, a first-class operation, upholding the values that our city insists on for those who live, work, and come to visit here. You've shown a commitment to quality with regard to this project. Quite frankly, we look forward to it. We know that you're on a very aggressive timeline. When we met with the city manager and representatives of the United Kingdom several weeks ago, they indicated that they would love the center to be opened by the end of 2026. We still, of course, have to receive architectural drawings. Mr. Bach and his team and our departments have to go over everything. So it might be pushing it a little bit, but rest assured, as we've said before, the city of Grosse Pointe Farms will do everything that we can to expedite this process, but making sure that we dot every I and cross every T, especially when we consider that this is going to house many youngsters. I have a couple of questions for you that are mentioned in the McKenna report with regard to parking. It was suggested that we look at the number of staff members and families who will be there on a daily basis, so to speak, so as to make sure that you have the appropriate parking, to make sure that there's enough ingress and egress with the one crosswalk proposed. And can you discuss with us, please, and you probably saw it, it's on page 5 at the top of the McKenna report, a suggestion that if you could clarify, and I know you're not the operator, but can you give us more details, please, as to the number of staff members and number of families anticipated? I remember 174 and figure around that, plus 40 staff members. Give us some more clarity if you would, please.
Actually, we have more children with this building than we would have had with the Kirksville building. There's the capacity of 208 children in this building and 36 staff members. The one thing I want to make clear, and I think I mentioned it before, is that the way daycare facility operates is significantly different than the way a school operates. School starts at 8 a.m. or 8:30, so parents start to queue up right by the school at the exact same time every single day. They queue up to pick up their children same time every single day. That's not how a daycare works. A daycare has stronger concentrations of time, maybe between 6:30 and 9:30 in the morning, and say 3 and 6 o'clock in the evening. But and for lack of a better word, the transactional relationship of the parents bringing their children in and out of the facility is significantly different than a regular elementary school. They come when they need to come, based on their schedule, not on the schedules of the daycare facility. So when we say we need 40 parking spaces and there's 36 staff members, that doesn't mean all 36 staff members are going to be there at the same time. They actually come in and out, as do the children. So when the children are at a higher concentration, then there's more staff there. But they come and go based on the number of students that are there, and they learn very quickly what that schedule is. 40 spaces is more than enough in our eye to handle the staff member parking
and the pickup and drop off of the children with the parents.
Thank you very much. I have one more question, if I might. Can you discuss with me, please, or with us, I should say, will there be cameras inside and outside of the building that are retained the footage on at least the 30-day loop should members of law
I
enforcement?
actually don't know for certain that that will happen, but I'm 99% sure that they will have audio-visual cameras in and outside of the building.
Thank you. I'd like to make that a requirement, if I might, during any motion, if willing, if I see a raised eyebrow, but I'm
Trying to
happy to
figure out which
amend
one
your
it would
motion.
be, but
Fair enough. I'm going to ask Ms. Dixon. She has been really patient and with McKenna. She's been here for some very late night meetings and I haven't recognized her before. I apologize to her on my entrance. Ms. Dixon, could you approach the podium, please? Ms. Dixon is with our city engineering firm, McKenna. Thank you very much for all your help. Is there anything that you'd like to highlight as to any concerns, questions, comments that you have with regard to this process before we go into motion making, so to speak?
No, I think the council and mayor have addressed the issues that we've brought up in our report. I think the safety concerns are with the crossing on the alleyway, really the major point of concern that we wanted to make sure was incorporated in this conversation. So I really appreciate your sensitivity to that issue and your, taking the time to also look into the trees and the parking issue. If you feel that the parking is subsequently taken care of and will create a demand that's unnecessary, then I believe it's all been addressed.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your attendance tonight. We appreciate it. All right, members of the public, any questions or comments, please, from any member of the public regarding this agenda item? Questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a proposed motion?
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soroka.
Yeah, all right, so I have a motion for the conditional use permit. I move that the city council approve a conditional use permit for an early education childcare facility at the property located at 18850 Mack Avenue to be operated by N Family Club. To reach this decision, we have reviewed Public Service Director Matt Baca's memo dated May 11th, 2026, the applicant's site plan review application dated April 24th, 2026, the detailed letter from McKenna dated May 1st, 2026, the proposed agreement, purchase and sale, and playground area and parking lease, and the applicant's comments tonight. Pursuant to this section 701 of the city's zoning ordinance, the city council finds that the proposed early education and childcare facility is sufficiently similar in character to other educational community institutional uses permitted within the CS Community Service District and is not injurious to the surrounding neighborhood. The city council further finds that the proposed use, 1, is consistent with promotes the intent and purpose of the zoning ordinance. 2, is generally consistent with the goals and recommendations of the city's master plan, including the master plan's identification of childcare availability as a gap of service provision and a missing community amenity within the city. 3, will be compatible with the adjacent land use and the surrounding environment and the capacities of public services and facilities. 4, will promote the use of land in socially and economically desirable manner and maintain the character of the area. 5, is consistent with the public health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the city of Grosse Pointe Farms. Approval of this conditional use permit is subject to the following conditions. The conditional use approval shall be personal to N Family Club or to any other additional permitted operator, as that term is defined in the purchase agreement for the property. With the exception of an additional permitted operator, as that term is defined in the purchase agreement, the conditional use approval cannot be transferred or assigned to another operator without first obtaining city council approval. 3, the property in operation shall remain in substantial compliance with the approved final site plan and all applicable ordinances. 4, any material changes to the approved use, site configuration, circulation plan, parking arrangement, or operational characteristics of the facility shall require review and approval by the city as required by ordinance. 5, approval of the conditional use permit shall be contingent upon approval of the final site plan, execution of the related purchase agreement and playground parking lease, and approval of the related zoning variances by the Zoning Board of Appeals. And 6, failure to maintain compliance with the conditions of this approval or applicable ordinances may result in modification or revocation of the conditional use permit following notice and an opportunity to be heard as provided by law.
City Attorney Burgess, do we have a valid motion with regard to the conditional use permit, please?
Yes, you do.
Thank you. Is there support for Mayor Pro Tem Soroka's motion?
Can I make a friendly amendment to that, or do we do that after we?
If accepted,
What's the amendment?
Well, I asked the applicant if we can do two things. First, replacement of trees, 1-to-1 ratio.
Would that be in the site? I think that might be in the site.
I would put that one in the site plan.
Site plan, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I think I may have it, but
Okay.
come back to it.
All right. Yep, and then the other one was the safety, the striping, but we'll do the same.
I
It's in the
would
site
put
plan.
that in the site. plan
Okay.
as well.
All right.
Yeah.
thank you. Is there support for Mayor Pro Tem Soroka's motion with regard to the conditional use permit?
Support.
Support by Councilmember Conrad Wilberding. Any further discussion by members of council? By the public? Mr. Kozicki, call the roll for this, please.
Councilmember Wood. Yes. Councilmember Conrad Wilberding.
Yes.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Yes.
Mayor Gululi.
Yes.
Councilmember Donovan.
Yes.
Pro Tem Soroka.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously. Next, with regard to site plan review, Mayor Pro Tem Soroka.
I move that the city council approve the final site plan submitted on April 24th, 2026 by Foreman Engineering on behalf of 814 Services LLC for the redevelopment and occupancy of the property located at 18850 Mack Avenue as an early education and childcare facility, together with associated playground and parking agreements. To reach this decision, we have reviewed Public Service Director Matt Baca's memo dated May 11, 2026, the applicant site plan review application dated April 24th, 2026, the detailed review letter from McKenna dated May 1st, 2026, the proposed agreement of purchase and sale, the proposed playground area and parking lease, the submitted site plans and supporting materials, and the applicant's comments tonight. The city council finds that the proposed site plan is generally consistent with the city's zoning ordinance and master plan, and that the proposed development is compatible with the adjacent land uses and consistent with the public health, safety, and welfare of the community. Approval of this final site plan is subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall design and install pedestrian safety improvements between the parking lot and building entrance in a manner acceptable to the city administration, which may include crosswalks, striping, signage, differentiated paving materials, traffic calming measures, pedestrian walkways, or similar improvements intended to improve pedestrian visibility and safety. 2, the applicant shall revise the submitted site plans if necessary to ensure consistency with the executed playground area and parking lease approved by the city council, including the number and location of leased parking spaces. 3, the applicant shall submit revised landscaping and tree plans accurately identifying trees proposed to remain and trees proposed to be removed, including replacement landscaping to be installed in a manner acceptable to the city administration. We can adjust. 4, exterior lighting shall be installed in accordance with the lighting details submitted with the application materials. 5, any proposed signage associated with the development shall require separate review and approval by the city in accordance with the applicable ordinances and procedures. 6, the applicant shall ensure that closed circuit cameras will monitor the interior and exterior of the building at all times and retain footage for a minimum of 30 days. Refuse generated by the 7, refuse generated by the facility shall be collected by a private refuse collection service in a manner and frequency sufficient to meet the operational needs of the facility. And 8, the final site plan approval granted herein shall be contingent upon the approval of related conditional use permit and execution of the related purchase agreement and playground/parking lease approved by the city council. Did that get everything?
Do we have a valid motion, City Attorney Burgess, with regard to the proposed final site plan review?
You do, unless Mr. Wood wants to alter the language on the trees.
Well, the trees, you didn't say specifically 1-to-1 ratio, Neil, and I guess that the applicant has agreed that 1-to-1 would be appropriate. And you could put that in there. 1-to-1 means 1 inch, you lose 1 inch, 1 inch you gain 1 inch, put back 1 inch, right? So.
I'm trying to figure out the way to say this. The applicant shall submit revised, this is condition 3. The applicant shall submit revised landscaping and tree plans accurately identifying trees proposed to remain and trees proposed to remove, including replacement landscaping
In a ratio.
in a ratio of 1, a ratio of 1-to-1, ratios of one, to be installed in a manner acceptable to the city.
Yeah, that sounds good, I think.
Fair enough. We have a valid amended motion and support. Is there any further discussion by members of council of the general public? Hearing none, all in favor, or Mr. Kozicki, call the roll, please, with regard to final site plan review.
Councilmember Wood,
Yes.
Councilmember Conrad Hildy,
Yes.
Councilmember Ritchie,
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Donovan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soroka.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The motion for final site plan review, the amended motion carries unanimously. Next, number 6, consideration of purchase and lease agreements for 18850 Mack Avenue. That is the property in which this family daycare center would sit. Mr. Reside, item A, with the assistance of City Attorney Burgess, please.
So, again, as council is aware, this property was purchased by the city just last year, so fairly recently. And, you know, the intent then was really to dedicate that property for a public purpose and something that would benefit the community. And, you know, this was not intended, at the time of purchase, I think the intent was really for the city to have control of the property and to really to determine the destiny of that property, to ensure that it's in the best use for the community. So, I think it's exciting that, you know, there is a use that is in great need for our community and an opportunity to put that site into that use. With that said, we have negotiated a purchase agreement and satisfactory with the city and with the 814 Acquisitions LLC. And we're requesting city council approval of the sale of that property to 814 Acquisitions LLC, and an amount equal to our purchase price of $2.4 million. There are several conditions that were referenced by Councilman Soroka within the purchase agreement that again help you know, address the use of that facility and safeguard that that will stay a child care facility while it's owned by 814 Acquisition LLC. It also gives a city a right of first refusal in the event that the property is sold at a later date. So our recommendation is for council approval of the purchase agreement for the sale of 18850 Mack Avenue.
City Attorney Burgess, do you have anything to add other than what Mr. Reside indicated and what you said earlier, sir?
Not.
Thank you very much. Mr. Egan, have you and your attorneys, you're here as the development manager on behalf of 814, is that correct, sir?
Yes, it is.
And you and your attorneys have had an adequate opportunity to review the proposed purchase agreement?
Yes, we have.
And it's your desire that it go forward on a vote tonight?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Questions from members of City Council with regard to the proposed purchase agreement? Mayor Pro Tem Soroka.
I think it's actually just important to emphasize what went on with this agreement. So over the course of a year, we had a $2.4 million purchase that the city made. We're recouping that $2.4 million. It goes back into our you know, coffers to do additional land purchases if necessary. And also, and as we'll deal with shortly, with the playground and parking lot lease, we're looking at $75,000 a year, essentially, more or less, for the city on an increasing scale over the course of multiple years. So this is the real definition of a triple bottom line success here. It's a win-win. It's a win for the city. It's a win for the residents, and it's a win, I think, for the developer. So it's just real kudos to Mr. Burgess and Mr. Reside for negotiating an exceptional agreement. And again, to our developer here for sticking with us, working with us, and finding a solution that I think works really well for everybody. So thank you to everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Egan, thank you to you and your team for your willingness to negotiate, for your expression of interest in this property. We know, as I indicated earlier, it's going to be great. And to our taxpayers, as Mayor Pro Tem Soroka said, this property will be back on the tax rolls. We will, as Mr. Reside will explain in a few minutes, be receiving income from 40 parking spots, plus with regard to an extension of the building for the playground area under the lease or purchase agreement as well. So I think the community as a whole is going to be absolutely thrilled when they see the first shovel in the ground, and we will be there as well. Is there a motion to approve the purchase agreement for the sale of 18850 Mack Avenue, please?
So moved.
By Councilmember Conrad Wilberding, is there support?
Support.
By Councilmember Jensen. Any further discussion from council? Any further discussion from members of the public? Mr. Kozicki, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Wood. Yes. Councilmember Conrad Wilberding.
Yes.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Donovan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soroka.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously. Is this the portion of the agenda where we need to,
Go ahead and do the playground lease, parking lease, and then you can scoot into CDA.
thank you very much. Item B, City Manager Reside, lease agreement for the lease of 40 parking spaces as well as land adjacent to the building itself.
Yes. So we have, again, reached an agreement on a lease agreement for both the 40 parking spaces in the municipally owned lot behind the property, as well as a portion of city-owned property directly adjacent north of 18850 Mack Avenue. And so the lease agreement it ties in with the purchase agreement in terms of the use agreement. And it would generate for the lease of the playground, $30,000 for the initial year. And then for the parking spaces, 40 spaces, $26,400 annually for, at least for the beginning. There is a built-in escalator clause that will increase that rent every 5 years. We recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions from members of council? Members of the general public, any questions regarding the proposed lease agreement for parking and land? Is there a motion? Councilman Soroka.
Sure. I move that the city council approve the playground area and parking lease between the city of Grosse Pointe Farms and 814 for the lease of certain city-owned property and parking areas adjacent to 18850 Mack Avenue.
Thank you. Is there support for, Mayor Pro Tem Soroka's, Councilman Ritchie? Any discussion, further discussion from council? From the general public? Hearing none, Mr. Kozicki, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Wood. Yes. Councilmember Conrad Wilberding.
Yes.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Yes.
Mayor Tulley.
Yes.
Councilmember Donovan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soroka.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Now I entertain a motion to recess as city council and convene as the zoning board of appeals. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
By Councilmember Conrad Wilberding, support by Councilman Jensen. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Mr. Burgess. Yes, please.
Are two variances that are required in connection with the action that the city council has just taken. The first one, and without getting into an infinite loop of what is approved first and what is approved second, you can't structurally alter a non-conforming building unless the Board of Zoning Appeals approves a variance. So we have, in theory, before the action that the city council just took a few minutes ago, a non-conforming building because of the zoning classification. And so to be safe, I think it's appropriate procedure if the Board of Zoning Appeals would approve the alterations that are proposed in the new site plan. So that's number one. And then number two, the number of on-site parking spaces would be inadequate with respect to the use of this property. again, without commenting about getting into an infinite loop, because we now have an approved lease. It's a good procedure that the Board of Zoning Appeals would approve the 40 space publicly owned and now leased parking spaces rather than an on-site requirement. So what do you think, Sabine?
Thank you very much. Is there a variance to approve the non-conforming building located 18850 Mack Avenue that was subject to the conditional use permit, site plan review, and purchase agreement? Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Soroka, support by Councilman Ritchie. Any discussion? City Attorney Burgess.
Just because this is a variance, and I don't think we're gonna need it in as much detail for the parking, Neil,
I got it. You want me to read the whole
Go
thing?
ahead and read that.
I'll read the whole thing.
All right.
Yeah. So,
Fun times. All right. I move that the application submitted by 814 Services LLC and related entities for the redevelopment of the property located at 18850 Mack Avenue be granted, thereby authorizing structural modifications and interior alterations to an existing non-conforming structure in connection with the operation of an early education and childcare facility within the community service district. To reach this decision, we have reviewed Matt Baca's memo dated May 11, 2026, the applicant's appeals application, the detailed review letter from McKenna dated May 1st, 2026, the associated plans and application materials, and the applicant's comments tonight. Potential factual findings indicate that the strict application of the zoning ordinance would result in a practical difficulty for the user of the property due to the following. The existing building was constructed for a substantially different commercial purpose and cannot reasonably accommodate a modern early education and childcare facility without interior structural modifications and related improvements. The variance is in harmony with and serves the intent and purpose of the ordinance because, one, the proposed improvements will allow for the productive reuse of an existing commercial building within the Mack Avenue corridor. Two, the variance will not increase residential density or alter the essential character of the surrounding area. Three, the proposed redevelopment is generally consistent with the goals and recommendations of the city's master plan, including the identification of childcare availabilities and missing community amenity within the city. And four, the proposed structural modifications are necessary to safely and effectively operate the approved early educational and childcare facility. The variance will result in substantial justice being done because, one, the strict application of the ordinance would make it impractical to adapt the existing structure for the approved community serving use. Two, the hardship is not self-created and instead arises from the configuration and existing conditions of the building and the nature of the approved use. Three, the proposed structural modifications will not substantially interfere or injure the rights of neighboring property owners and will maintain compatibility with the surrounding land use. Four, granting the variance will support the adaptive reuse of an existing vacant commercial property while maintaining compatibility with surrounding land use. The Board of Zoning Appeals hereby grants the requested variance without prejudice or precedence in any future.
Do we have a valid motion, City Attorney Burgess?
you do.
Do we have support for the motion? Councilmember Wood? Any further discussion from council? From the public? Hearing none, Mr. Kozicki, call the roll on its variance, requested variance, please.
Councilmember Wood. Yes. Councilmember Conrad Wilbraham.
Yes.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Yes.
Mayor Lewis.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soroka.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Thank you. The requested variance passes unanimously. Is there a second motion with regard to a variance for the necessary parking spots?
It just as a time saver, we don't need all of the detail in the next motion. We simply granting permission from the Board of Zoning Appeals to use the off-site parking that is already, we already have an approved lease rather than on-site. That's all you need.
So I can just do it. I'll just say, I move that the application submitted by 814 Services and related entities for the redevelopment of the property located at 18850 Mack Avenue be granted, thereby authorizing the use of leased off-site parking spaces located in the adjacent city-owned property in connection with the operation of the early education childcare.
Is there support for that motion? Councilman Ritchie? Any discussion from council? From the general public? Hearing none, Mr. Kozicki, please call the roll.
Councilmember Wood.
Yes.
Councilmember Conrad Wilbraham.
Yes.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Yes.
Mayor Lewis.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soroka. Yes. Councilmember Johnson. Yes.
Sir, Mr. Egan, you have hit a home run tonight. We very much look forward to working with you and your team. We look forward to receiving the drawings in the not too distant future. Thank you very much for your willingness to come to our great city and develop this great project.
Mr. Mayor, could I just take one quick second?
Of course you may.
I would like to thank you City Manager Reside, City Attorney Burgess and the full council, as well as Matthew Baca, Derek Zicki. You have all really done a spectacular job for your city. And we, as the petitioner, appreciate everything that you've done to get us into this building and on our way to providing a great daycare facility for the city of Groveland Point Farms. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Egan.
Thank you.
Very much, sir. See you soon.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next,
I'll get adjourned out of this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we need to adjourn the zoning board of appeals. Is there a motion to adjourn? Recess as the Board of Zoning Appeals and reconvene as city council by Councilmember Conrad Wilberding, supported by Councilmember Jensen. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, the motion carries. We're now back as city council. The next item on our agenda is a consent agenda, items A through G. Is there anyone who wishes to remove an item from the consent agenda?
Item B.
Item B, consideration of approval of year-end budget adjustments. Is there any,
Mr. Mayor, just item F, just so we have a name.
fair enough, good. I was going to remove F as well. The applicant is, I think it's in your
Yeah.
packet,
Yeah,
It came.
but we will mention it and thank you. So items B and F are removed from the consent agenda. Do we need a formal motion to remove them? No, just to approve it. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda item A, award a contract for the end of summer bash fireworks display? C, consideration of a request for the American House Alzheimer's Awareness Walk. D, consideration of a request to approve local social district permit for Tavola Mia on the Hill. And E, a resolution honoring June 2026 as Gay Pride Month. And G, approval of the May 2026 invoices. Is there such a motion?
Move,
By Councilmember Conrad Wilberding, support
support.
by Councilmember Donovan. Any discussion by members of council? Any discussion by members of the public? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Item B, consideration of approval of year-end adjustments. Mr. Rowland, give us a brief background of the year-end budget adjustments that are included within the proposed consent agenda, please.
Year-end budget adjustments in the packet are primarily housekeeping adjustments for year-end. In aggregate, they do two main things, because we're on the higher end of our fund balance policy, estimated 27%. It does an additional transfer to the capital projects fund of $190,000. It also reduces our budgeted fund balance from 200,000 to 109,000. We don't anticipate actually using that 109,000. We anticipate in the year at approximately $100,000 increase in fund balance. Only because there's so much left in the fiscal year that we have through flying August. We have the remaining also the configuration of the budget in the category.
Thank you. Councilmember Wood is chair of our budget committee. Do you have questions or comments, sir?
My only question, the reason I pulled this was because I wanted him to just discuss briefly what he just did, which is fund balance is critical for our, I think our residents to understand that we have this fund balance or our rainy day fund and normally we project a expenditure of 200,000 or so for each fiscal year, but this year we're going to do less. And where are we going to end up in terms of our percentage once we have this plan in place? We're 27%.
We have about 27%.
So we'll stay at 27%? Okay.
That's the goal, to kind of keep it the same.
Yeah. Okay. And for everybody to know that our goal is between 20 and 30% of our revenues to have this fund balance, right? And this is very, very good fiscal policy. It helps us with our bond experience and stuff like that. But yeah, I just wanted to have that discussion and it's very good what we're talking about here. So thank you.
It is good news. Any other questions or comments from members of council regarding the proposed year-end budget adjustments? Members of the public, any questions or comments on this issue? If not, I'll entertain a motion from council, please, to approve the proposed year-end budget adjustments as noted in the memorandum contained within our packet by Budget Finance Director, Mr. Rowland. Is there such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
By Councilmember Wood, is there support? by Councilmember Donovan. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Next, please, item F, consideration of a request from the Grosse Pointe Public Library to appoint a representative to the Board of Trustees.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Conrad
Robert
Wilberding.
Allen here, probably not.
Right here.
Oh, Mr. Allen.
Mr. Allen is in fact here. Come on up, Mr.
I
Allen.
think we just need to see, if we're gonna vote for our representative for, the library, because as Mr. Allen so succinctly put in his write-up, our library system is going to be engaging into a strategic planning activity. And, I'm gonna take a page out of our previous mayor's playbook about the library and the millage. And he always did have some different questions with it because it's a rather high millage, comparatively speaking. And since the time of that, you know, I mean, I voted for the millage, and I think we've done some wonderful things with our library, from the woods to the park to the central library. It's been outstanding. But all millages are not into perpetuity. You have to really justify different millages and millage increase. Right now, Grosse Pointe Farms is at 18.74 in the R millage. Okay, that's the highest we've been in my tenure. And so, you know, I think that millages, we've just passed a new millage with the Helms, the AAC. So I just want to make sure that from time to time, Mr. Allen, and I know you'll do this, but from time to time, you might give us a little update on the report and what's going on, because I remember in past experiences, we kind of got those reports late or inconclusive. And so it would be great if we had that, since we're all subject to paying a millage for our fine library system. That's all I'd have to say. Congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
Would you like any kind of response to that?
Oh, anytime.
I'm happy to do that. I mean,
And you don't necessarily have to if you're not prepared tonight to, as this isn't, but go ahead.
no, I have the ubiquitous PowerPoint presentation printed out. I won't get into details. I think I very much would like to respond and the presentation.
Let's set up another time and we can do that.
But all I would tell you is that every meeting I go to, in the back of my mind is the last time we did this presentation, where we talked about things like fund balances and debt service. And so although I am eternally grateful for the public's devotion to the library, I have also believe that brings with it a concomitant responsibility to be good stewards. And so I'm constantly thinking about every meeting, I'm thinking, okay, we have this fund balance, we have the millage. I mean, we don't operate in a vacuum. I am one trustee among many. In our next meeting on the 25th of June, we'll be talking about the strategic plan. We'll be finalizing it, approving it, maybe just tweaking. But that goes in concert with the millage request. And that is another thing we're dealing with. That is my perspective. I think I've articulated it sufficiently it's in your packs. So that's all I will say.
Great. No, yeah, and I'm not disparaging or the library at all. I just want to make sure that we've had a lot of changes to our library, a lot of additions, and everything great, a lot of great services. But we still need to have an accounting for it. We're only one municipality passes this millage, so, but you know, from time to time, a presentation would be good.
We have a responsibility to be mindful that there are other governmental bodies that are confronting the same thing. We're lucky that people love us, but that brings, as I said, responsibility to just not take that for granted.
Great, thank you.
For the benefit of the public, Mr. Allen has served as the Grosse Pointe Farms representative on the board for several years now. He was a trustee for many years. He is the current president of the trustees of the Grosse Pointe Public Libraries. Under his leadership, great changes have been made. We appreciate it. I know the city manager and I are going to reach out to you in the near future to arrange for lunch. There was one other applicant who expressed an interest. However, out of fairness, that application was untimely and out of fairness will not be considered by city council since it was untimely. So, Mr. Allen, thank you very much for your service. Do you have anything else to add before I ask for comments from other comments from city council members or from the general public,
I
sir?
think I've said enough to.
Thank you. Is there any other comments or questions of Mr. Allen or of the process from members of council? From members of the general public? If not, I entertain a motion to approve Robert Allen as the appointed representative of the city of Grosse Pointe Farms to the Grosse Pointe Public Library Board of Trustees. Is there such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
By Councilmember Conrad Wilberding, support
Support.
by Councilman Ritchie. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Mr. Allen, thank you very much again, sir. We appreciate your service. Very important. Thank you, sir. We will. Next, reports. RFP regarding prosecuting attorney services, city manager Reside.
Yes, this is really just for council to be aware that we are intent to issue an RFP for our prosecuting attorney services. It's not as a result of dissatisfaction with any of our current services, but really a best practice. We've been doing this now with recently with our retirement system for our investment advisor. We've gone through RFP and looked at other advisors. We did that also with our city engineer prior to embarking on our sewer separation program. And so it's been a number of years since we have gone out for an RFP, and so we intend to do that over the next couple of months, and we'll be reporting back to city council on the result of those interviews.
Any questions or comments from members of council? I would only add that I believe the competition with regard to those who provide city services is a good thing. As an attorney who practices municipal law and who has to furnish and respond to requests for proposal just about every month for different clients and the like, I think it's a very good thing. It keeps you on your toes. You have to look at statistics, which we are doing. We're going to do a deep dive in a presentation to city council in the not too distant future as well as to a number of matters handled by our prosecuting attorneys, the initial charges brought, the final charges that were ended up going, especially since we saw some budgetary numbers that showed a decrease from last year, things of that nature. But I reviewed the proposal written by Mr. Kozicki, which was very good. Derek, thank you very much for your hard work on that. And I think it'll be a very good interview process. And Shane will be a part of it. Court Administrator Rabot, Judge Bursback, and Director of Public Safety, Mr. Hutchins, is going to be those who vet out, so to speak, those who respond. Then we will, of course, all get copies of the responses, and we'll have plenty of time to evaluate them individually and as a collective group. So that's the update. Item B, Public Safety Report. Any questions or comments for Director Hutchins or Deputy Director Rogers with regard to public safety, Mayor Pro Tem Soroka?
Yeah, I had a few questions, particularly on the bikes in the city and e-bikes in particular. It's a common discussion right now on Facebook and a lot of other places too. I think there's a lot of concern about a few things. Number one, I talked about at the last city council meeting, I think when Representative Pies was here, I had a chance to speak with her yesterday as well. And I've talked to her about trying to pursue state legislation that treats e-bikes as mopeds. Here in the state of Michigan, mopeds require, I think you have to be 15 years old at least, and you have to have motor vehicle training. Also would provide the fact that e-bikes can't go on sidewalks. They have to be done on a street. But that's got to be dealt with at a state level. The question for me is what can be done on a municipal level? Because we're seeing a lot of incidents of generally young people under the age of 16 driving around on these e-bikes. Now, it's not like this is a new problem, but this does seem to be a growing problem. I suspect it's because the e-bikes are becoming more popular. They're becoming a little bit cheaper. But I'm just wondering about a few things. Number one, and this is a general question, what are the rules with regard to bikes on sidewalks? And to what degree, is it permitted, and what kind of enforcement mechanisms do we have if it's not permitted?
So Andy and I come through a lot of material, so in an effort to keep this as simple as possible, by default, Michigan law allows e-bikes to go where bikes can go. As it stands right now, there's 3 classes of e-bikes. Class 1 is pedal assisted motor. It goes up to 20 miles per hour. The motor only engages when you're pedaling, so it helps to propel you.
You know what, Officer, Chief Hutchins, is there, you could be at the microphone so that, we can get this on,
Yeah.
in case people hear about it afterwards? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, 3 class and e-bikes. Class 1 pedal assisted motor goes up to 20 miles per hour. Class 2 is throttle driven motor. You don't have to pedal, so it's essentially like a lower speed moped. That can go up to 20 miles per hour. Class 3 can go up to 28 miles per hour, and that is again now a pedal assisted motor. That requires you to be at least 14 years of age and wear a helmet. Get up over that and then you are into moped status, which is what you were talking about. So, for comparative purposes, the city of Detroit, the city of Lansing, Ann Arbor, they allow for e-bikes on sidewalks. Grand Rapids does not. They restricted it in their downtown areas. We could place local restrictions on e-bikes here if we chose to. Right now, as Andy pointed out, we have one sign at Kirchville and Muir that basically just tells bicyclists to pay attention to customers exiting stores. That's really all we have in place right now in terms of bicycles.
And there's no there's no restriction on bicycles on sidewalks, period.
No.
Okay.
No, not that we're aware of or that we could find. I think some folks in the public were under the impression that there are. We haven't been able to find any such restrictions. We could locally restrict e-bikes, as I understand it, based upon what some other cities have done. But right now, they're pretty widely allowed in a lot of different cities. But I know it's the hot topic, everyone's talking about it. They could be prohibited by signage and or local regulation. That way you wouldn't have to wait for the state to do it. We would just need to model off of something, which we can look into. So,
I think it would be definitely worth looking into restrictions on e-bikes on sidewalks.
Yep.
At a minimum. And I think the subject of the question of licensure, that's a state issue, but we could say, here, in the city of Grosse Pointe Farms, no e-bikes on sidewalks. I would certainly be supportive of that. I did know, because I was doing some of my own research, we do have a section on bicycles in the city ordinances. It was passed in 1971. And what was interesting about it, section 604, and it requires every single bicycle in the city of Grosse Pointe Farms to be licensed. It requires a $2 license fee. It's kind of funny, but it looks like it was at the time probably to address a rash of bike thefts that were going on in the community. It seems like that's a place where we could do some edits to our ordinances, because I'm operating against the law, unfortunately. I gotta pay $2.
It's been nice seeing you on city council.
Yeah. I will pay my $2 as soon as I can.
we try to encourage kids.
Yeah.
We've been putting on programs like that for years.
That's right.
Kids.
Yes, first, Councilman Soroka, do you have any further questions?
No, I think those are my questions. I'd like to pursue some ordinances on e-bikes, and I'll leave it to the other folks.
Thank you. Councilmember Wood.
Thanks. This is coincidental because today I got a phone call from a resident who said this exact same thing. So clearly this is in people's minds. Hutch, in the research that you did you ever run into any ordinance that said that parents would get a ticket for their kids' malfeasance? In other words, the kid's out there speeding, no helmet, doing the wrong thing. You guys pick them up and take them home, and then the parents on the hook. Strikes me that might be a real deterrent for the behavior that we're talking about here. Slow down, wear your helmet, and be aware.
We have to wear a helmet on class 3.
Yeah.
So that's if you're going 28.
So as far as you know, nobody has put any kind of parental kind of a fine or anything like that.
Not that I've seen.
Well, I would like to support Neil on this and say that, yeah, I would love to see us, if we could do something that would help. Because the gentleman who called me today was concerned about being hit by what he referred to as a 12-year-old girl on an e-bike on the sidewalk.
Where was that?
I didn't get that. Whether or not he came, that's not really the point. The issue is, can we keep the kids off of the, the sidewalks and help pedestrians, people are walking.
The most common areas that you see the restrictions are in the downtown areas. That's where local communities tend to see liberty. So they don't need to put where they do it. But I suppose we could do it wherever we wanted to. There's the local restriction.
Councilmember Donovan, then Councilmember Jensen and Councilmember Ritchie, please.
Mr. Mayor, I certainly enjoy, every morning, I have my coffee and I see the kids, going to Brownell on their bikes and it is amazing. It's amazing. They all seem to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. What about first we put in place a public awareness campaign? We could do it via email, blast, social media. Before we, maybe look at changing ordinances, I would support whatever this council wants to do. I think it's always good if we take the time to educate.
I think personally, that's a great idea. Why not remind kids to be careful on their bikes, to use the rules of the road on sidewalks, be careful of pedestrians, and to always wear a helmet. I did a program years ago as a young lawyer. It was called Helmets, Wear Them Like the Pros. And we had several celebrities, a race car driver, a football player, and a baseball player.
That's a good idea.
All professional athletes, well-known with their helmet, encouraging kids to wear helmets. And it worked out very well. Councilmember, I'm sorry.
Just add one more thing, Mr. Mayor. Derek is the liaison for the Beautification Advisory Commission. And he creates these amazing flyers for all the stuff that we do. And basically, I just give him a little bit of plate information and he runs with it. But the flyers are absolutely stunning. So I hope we can pursue that public awareness campaign.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Let's
Mayor.
do it and we'll show it to communications as well. And we're gonna go to Councilman Jensen first, but communications should be a part of it.
We'll get that on the committee. We'll get that on the committee.
Wonderful. Yes.
Hutch, the one that worries me, stand-up scooters, electric stand-up scooters. I took my bike out, believe it or not, for a ride yesterday, coming down Kirby Road, and I thought I was moving pretty good. And this girl couldn't have been nine years old on a sidewalk, on an electric scooter, went flying by me. I was in the street, she's on a sidewalk. She had no shoes on, she had no helmet on, and she's a standing missile.
Yeah.
Because you cannot stop standing up. On a bike, you might be able to dump it, you hit the tire, e-bike, regular bike, you got a little bit more protection. But when you're completely standing up and a car backs up and you hit it, that's my concern. And I've seen so much of it lately, and summer coming, we're gonna see a lot more, but there's gonna be an accident. I guarantee you, there is going to be an accident, and it could be very, very serious to a young child. And I'm talking 8, 9 years old, standing with no shoes, no helmet, and just at 20 miles an hour.
It's like raisins, right?
Yeah, it's like a raisin. And she's just whistling. I mean, they're going,
Right.
20 miles an hour on a sidewalk standing up. It's a lot faster than you think. I mean, it really.
I bet you
Yeah,
hit a side, you hit a raised piece of sidewalk and all of a sudden that kid, it could not even be a car.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Ritchie first, please.
John, you mentioned the 3 levels. So I think we have rules already. Number 1, it's a bike. I like e-bikes. I really do.
Yeah.
But if it's a bike, it has to be licensed. You got a 1971 law. It should be registered. And number 2, how do we tell what a level 3 is?
very good.
They have a sticker on them
Okay,
that tells which can be defeated.
okay. So
There's an 8-mile-per-hour difference between 3 and 2.
we have 5 miles is 5 miles, but also you have to wear a helmet.
You have to wear a helmet, be 14.
So those 2 things right there, what's the age?
We're 14.
14. And I mean, you go up to Farmers Market and there's 9 or 12 scooters there, not scooters, bicycles. I don't know which one's which. And how do you tell? And do you,
We can tell by that there's a marking there.
well, again, I think, again, explanation to everybody, the 3 levels, what you have to do. You need a license. We have stuff now. And I'll tell you, going down the sidewalk, those things scare you.
Oh, yeah.
They're just really scary. And the kids, they go right across the driveways. They don't care. So,
Child, some months ago, over by Brown, I was going out the sidewalk, we went to the side of the DPW vehicle. Just clobbered the back of the vehicle. Was it Charlotte? Charlotte, good enough, it was Chalfont. It was a brown little kid though. Wasn't too serious, but he didn't want to do a sitting, manage the side of it.
Councilmember Conrad Wilberding.
I just, want to echo everyone that's important. I think that the public campaign is a public safety campaign would be great. And we need to get the other gross points involved. Obviously, I'm not gonna work just with our little community here. I mean, our big little community here. But, I bought my husband an e-bike and I ride it, and that's the 20-mile thing.
Yeah.
That's a fast bike. That is a freaking bike. Not only that, if you can use it where it's supposed to be pedal assisted, but you can use it once you start pedaling, doing those pedals, boom, it can take off, it can shoot off. And so if 25 miles is a 3, dear Lord, I mean, what's going to prevent a kid going on their parents' thing or their older brother's thing and not going 25 miles an hour is enormous. And we're having no restrictions on a sidewalk. And I've seen plenty of incidents, as everyone else has given, their stories, where you just wonder, what are they doing? How are they getting away with this? So I also want to just opine that we're not alone in this. And in a recent meeting and a Zoom meeting with Michigan Municipal League, one person brought it up. And this was from another community, and everyone said, oh, yeah. And they said, well, that's not on the agenda. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But I mean, it was a resounding echoing from other different communities saying, yeah, we got a big problem coming here. So it's, I think it would behoove us as far as to work with the communications committee. Neil and I are both co-chairs of that. And that's how we got with Derek to do his stuff with it. And to do that and bring in you, Sierra, to give any type of idea that you might have. And we have some good people, two new good people on that committee. And I think that would be one way to start. But there's no question about it. And Mr. Mayor, I know that you meet with other mayors periodically, and that's what we have to do. It has to be all gross points.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, final word, please, Mr. Soroka.
Yeah, well, just to build off of that and build off of Councilwoman Donovan's comments, I think a public safety campaign in general on bike safety, especially at the springtime, is always a great time to do it. And I think we can do it. I would say that I think we can do that and talk about a prohibition on sidewalks in particular. And directing, I think e-bikes are great. They're a great solution, especially in urban communities for getting around. You don't need your car, excellent. But I think they need to be on the road. And I think that we can encourage, and frankly, if a parent is not comfortable with their kid putting a bike on the road, then you should not be comfortable with your kid using an e-bike, period. And a lot of this does also come down to parental responsibility as well, and just choosing something that your kid is going to be safe on. And at the end of the day, we're all neighbors that care about the kids in our neighborhood. Most of everyone here and everyone I've heard online is concerned not about their own safety most of the time. They're concerned about the kids' safety. And so any work that we would do on an ordinance would be about making sure that kids are safe and also that other pedestrians are safe.
Councilman Ritchie.
When I was investigating the e-bikes, never was I told the 3 levels.
Yeah, no.
And I was gonna ask you,
No.
did they tell you when you bought
Never.
your deal?
Never.
Never.
Oh.
That's that right there. You're gonna have an accident. Mark my words. There's gonna be an accident. It's not gonna be nice.
I'm having breakfast tomorrow with most of the other chiefs. I don't know if Dan's gonna be there or not, but we'll catch up with them too and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
In terms of the e-bikes.
Councilman Jensen, final word, please.
So I was just gonna comment that enforcement really needs to be done through education. Many years ago, I think John will remember, we were having a problem with joggers in the street. And my predecessor, Bob Ferber, said, let's start writing them. They're running in the street 2 and 3 abreast. There's a state ordinance, I believe it is. It's not a city ordinance. You're not allowed to run in the street if sidewalks are provided. So he got us all out there to go after these joggers, and it blew up in our face. They were writing letters as joggers to the Detroit News and the Free Press and the Grosse Pointe News. We won't have anything else better to do here. Well, they're adults that were doing it. So, we kind of backed off and took the position that, hey, they're adults, they're going to do it. It's an accident, we fill in the blanks on the report. we're talking children. So, but we really need to educate first, because it's gonna be tough to try to tell these officers to get out there and start stopping every kid who's on the
Right.
sidewalk on a moped or whatever.
Mhm.
You're asking a lot. I know it's part of the responsibilities and duties of an officer, but there's a lot else going on, as we all know about. But education, I think, is educating for what you're talking about. It's the way to do it first.
Thank you. I would just add finally that the ordinance committee will be convening on this and several other agenda items. I asked City Manager Reside a week or two ago, we're going to get a meeting there. This is also going to be discussed at the mayor and managers meeting. The City of Grosse Pointe Farms is hosting in the next couple of weeks. And I agree that education on this issue is very important before we try to force a 12-year-old or 10-year-old on an electric bike into the street instead of a sidewalk. I am deathly afraid of car bike accidents. Ask any orthopedic surgeon around, and they will tell you there's not going to be an accidents happen. They're happening all the time on scooters, on bikes. It's a done deal. We have to be careful. We have to educate. City Manager Reside, anything else to report, sir?
Just briefly, I know Councilman Wood wanted me to do a brief update on our sewer project and our pool project. And things are going well on both accounts. In terms of the sewer project, we've had pre-construction meetings, and there's a lot of work actually going on right now behind the scenes, a lot of shop drawings that the contractors are submitting to engineers for review, materials being ordered. And so both those projects, actual construction in the ground, starting to dig at the pump station is scheduled to begin the latter part of next month. And at the same time, we have a separate contract that will begin doing the separation, sewer separation between Mac and Chalfont North and Ross. Both those projects are 2-year projects, multi-year projects. And so not everybody will be impacted at the same time. Clearly particularly for the sewer separation project, but we do intend, as we have the schedule of dates when we know what roads will be on and when we'll be organizing a meeting with those residents probably the first part of next month. And regarding our pool project, again, things are going very well there. We've had good weather this spring in terms of lack of rainfall, which allowed a lot of good construction days. The bathhouse is actually ahead of schedule, probably by a week or two. They're actually the footings went in, the framing is actually going up. The elevator shaft is in place, so things are moving along well there. Actual pool, I think this is a photo that came off our camera from last Friday that Derek distributed. That's still the excavation contractor. They are now turning over the site to Berzini, our pool contractor, who will be getting to do the construction of the pool. So that's actually starting the actual construction portion and drainage and footings and so forth will be going in and starting this week. So just an update, things are going well. I'm hearing, luckily actually not hearing a lot in terms of our reciprocal arrangements with Grosse Pointe Woods and Grosse Pointe Park, which I think is a good thing. It's being utilized. I know Chris Galatis, our Parks and Rec Director, has been spending time at both parks and has seen, that interaction. And I've talked to the other managers, and it seems to be that the system seems to be working. So good to hear. But I do encourage residents to use our park. It's a great time to use it. It's, and we're seeing that a lot of picnics. Our bookings for picnics have not fallen at all this year. Our rentals in the community building are on task, and our concessions is open. So we encourage you to visit the park this summer.
Is there any problem with residents getting confused about which park they should be going to?
I have not heard that. I think the 2-color system has worked out well.
Anything else from members of council? From members of the administration? From members of the public? Any public comment on any issue? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn
So moved.
by Councilmember Donovan. Is there support?
Or
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.